Okay, so I was originally going to meet with Carol, I think it was, to help explain some of this stuff, but I'm not going to be able to today, so I'm going to try to actually explain my code setup. So first I'll show you kind of how it's all done. I have my dungeon homepage right here, right? Which will be, let me show you on here. Sorry, I don't have all of it set up. Alrighty, so here's my home page, right? And whenever I go to dungeons, here it is, and it has create a dungeon, has view dungeons. So obviously you go in here. These links up here are inactive. I need to get rid of them. But you go in here and you fill out all of your stuff, and whenever you click create dungeon, it will save it. Now, if you don't have the stuff filled out, it'll still do your validation, right? So let's dig into this some. On my main.js, I have two functions, well, two primary actions for two different pages. I have my save data, right, system right here. And then down here I have my display data. So in the save data, it works pretty much the same. It has, this is just saying save done data equals, save done data. So whenever my button on my dungeon form page says save done data for its ID is pressed, right, it basically is linking all this together. So then we have the store done data function. And with this in, it has a console log, so whenever it stores, it says it's storing dungeon. And right here it's making the ID. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so it's just saying, new dungeon equals ID, has a colon, and then it has difficulty, and it's targeting down here, .val, and then dot to lowercase to make sure it's all lowercase, and then colon, and then dungeon name once again going down there, .val, and dot to lowercase again to make it lowercase. So that's the system we have going on to make my ID. So whenever I save, just to show you guys real quick, I'll go in, I'll type in a bunch of crap, right? 10 to 15, night, and type in more crap. Okay, create a dungeon. It's going to give me my alert. It's going to say down here, storing dungeon, right? And then you'll see it has its ID right there, night, which is the difficulty, and then WDSF, which is the dungeon name. Okay, so that's how that's set up, and I'm about to show you a little more. I also forgot to say, up here I have a console log just saying dungeon form loaded to make sure you know that your JavaScript for the page is loaded. So then, you just have your things. You're making the values right here. New dungeon, so right there so you're targeting the ID basically. Dungeon name, so that's putting in that value equals. Grab the dungeon name from, whenever it saves. Dungeon name, right there. .value, and it just does that for all of these. And then console.log new dungeon, and you'll see it did console log the dungeon, right? If you click that, it has that, and if you go back, also in here it has it. Alrighty, let's go back into the IdeaJ. Okay, right here is where it actually saves it, though, to your couchdb. So you have .couch.db, right? And then you have your database name right here. Mine is Dungeon Helper 2. .savedoc, right? And then you put new dungeon, or whatever your value that you have here, there, comma, bracket, success function data. See that? Console.log dungeon saved, right? So it's saving the document right here, And then once it does that, it will console log dungeon saved if successful. And as we can see, it was successful. Now, if it's not successful, it's going to, it's supposed to console log the status. It doesn't always do that. And then it also has a little alert down here after this that says dungeon saved successfully. Alright, so that's the saving part. Now we have the validate, right? And this is just exactly the same as previously. Whenever you put in the validate function, that's jQuery, right? So that's nothing new right here. You need to make sure you have the plugin, or whatever you call it, all the way at the bottom, the like jQuery.validate.js or whatever, however it's set up. But this is just basically saying it's going to do this. Create dungeon form. If you have more questions about the validate function, just let me know. And then down here, we're just targeting save done data, which is right here, and that's just, you know, the targeting that part of the HTML, that ID of the button, the submit button, and dot on. So on a click, it runs validate, and validate then runs through, and if everything is where it's supposed to be, then it will, where is it? Okay, so you have the store done data. So if it is validated, right, because if it's validated, then it will run this and it'll save it. Alrighty, so that is my save function right there. And I'm going to stop the video, and now I'm going to do the display function. Be right back.